Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Corey, and I'm here at the Her Memorial Library, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Fire Safety and Prevention Month, which is October. And we had a fun time with Caesar and Larry going down to the Mifflinburg Hose Company and meeting with firefighter Mast. And Caesar, hey guys, how are you?
We're good.
You're good? Did you guys have fun at the fire station?
Yes.
Yeah, you did, Caesar? Awesome. And Larry, you did too?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a good time with firefighter Mast at the Mifflinburg Hose Company, didn't we? So I was thinking that when we were with firefighter Mast, he read us a really cool book about Elmo. Do you remember that? And how Elmo was a firefighter? Well, why don't we sit here and listen to firefighter Mast tell us all about Elmo as a firefighter. Hi everybody, it's Miss Corey, and today we are here at the Mifflinburg Hose Company to talk about firefighting because it's October and I think it's National Fire Safety Month, and it's certainly Fire Safety Month here in Pennsylvania, and so we're here to talk with firefighter Mast about fire safety, and he's going to read us a book with Elmo in it. I'm so excited. I love Elmo. And we even have Larry and Caesar with us again today to talk about how much fun it is to be safe and know how to take care of ourselves in case of a fire. So I'm going to have you guys meet firefighter Mast now, and we'll read a book by Elmo.
Hey guys, welcome to the fire station. Thanks for coming down, and thank you to the library for hosting this program. So one of the things we like to do, I've been doing these fire prevention programs up usually at the library every year for a couple of years, like 15 years maybe, but so because of everything that's going on right now, we can't do that this year, so these guys are coming out to the station. So one of the things I like to do is, since you guys are coming through the library, we like to read a book to you guys, right? And one of my favorite books for this is Elmo Going to the Fire Station. So if you guys haven't seen this before, it's a good little book. Look it up. Oh, Elmo's thinking about people who keep us safe. They drive big red trucks. Can you guess who they are? That's right, Elmo is thinking about firefighters. This guy says, "Hi, I'm Sean. I'm a firefighter and a daddy. I'm Susan. I love being a firefighter and an aunt." So that's like, firefighters are just real people. Even though sometimes we wear funny gear and we look different, we're just people, just like your mom and dad. This is what Susan and Sean wear when they work: a helmet, gloves, coat, pants, and boots. These special clothes protect them from fire. If there's smoke, firefighters wear masks to help them breathe and protect their face. Is that really you in there, Sean? Sure is, Elmo. Don't let this mask scare you. See, here he's got a mask on. It doesn't really look like him, but here, it's the same guy that was in the book here, right? So it just looks different, looks scary. He's got some different gear on. When the alarm bell rings in the firehouse, firefighters slide down a pole to get to their trucks quickly and safely. Dorothy imagines that Elmo's a firefighter. Look, he's sliding down a pole. We don't have a pole in our firehouse. We're kind of sad about that, but it's okay. We just don't need one. So firefighters attach their hoses to fire hydrants to allow water to come out. They use their hoses to squirt water on a fire. Part of a firefighter's job is teaching kids how to be safe, which is what we're doing today. We're talking about fire safety. In case of fire, get low and go. Get out and stay out. We'll talk about that in a minute. These guys don't know it yet, but they're going to help us talk about that. All right, what else can kids and families do to stay safe in case of a fire? Practice family fire drills. Have a family meeting place away from the front of the house, but nearby. Elmo loves practicing get low and go. You should practice too. So, we'll talk about that in a minute. Elmo really liked learning about fire safety from his friends Susan and Sean, and they were happy to teach Elmo how to be safe. They want you and your family to practice the rules of fire safety too. Thank you, firefighters. So, what are some of the things that Elmo learned today at the fire station, right? He learned get low and go. What do you think that means? What does it mean when you get low and go? So, what that means is, think about if you ever had a campfire. If you ever had a fire outside, where does the smoke go? Smoke goes up, right? Smoke's not down on the ground, it goes up. Well, it does the same thing in your house, but inside your house, it can only go up so far. It hits the ceiling, and then it starts to back down and come down and come down, and eventually the whole room is full of smoke. But what that means is that the best air, if there's a fire in your house, the best chance that you have to have good air that you can breathe is down on the ground. So you have to get down on the ground sometimes and that's what get low and go means. It means get out of your bed, get on the floor and crawl. If there's smoke that you can't see, get on the floor, and then there's your better chance that you'll be able to get out. So we're gonna practice that. We're gonna have the bear show you how to get down on the ground and get low and go. All right, get down. Can you guys practice with him? Go ahead, practice. Get on your hands and knees. Go ahead and crawl. Yep, get low and go. And you might have to be on your belly, because guess what? If we come in your house, I'll show you some of this later too, but if we're, as firefighters, sometimes when we're working in your house, we're gonna be on our hands and knees. We might even be on our bellies. We spend a lot of time working on our bellies because it's dark and it's smoky, and if we can't see, then it's not safe. So we get down on the ground and walk. Or we don't get on the ground and walk, we get down on the ground and crawl.
Right.
The other thing, that was something else he learned. The other thing he learned was get out and stay out. What do you think that means? So get out and stay out means, let's say that you're in bed tonight and the smoke detector goes off, or you smell smoke, something tells you that there's a problem. You realize there's a fire in the house. And you get out of bed and you're gonna do what? You're gonna get low and go, right? You're gonna crawl, you're gonna get out of your house. But what if, when you get out of the house, you realize that you left maybe, okay, if you guys have pets, maybe you left a pet in the house, or maybe your brother and sister are still in the house, or maybe even your mom and dad are still in the house. Something really, really important to you is still in the house. So you might want to go back in and get them, right? Because you don't want them to be hurt. You don't want them to not be okay. But what get out and stay out means is don't ever go back. If you've gotten out of the house, even if it's your brother or sister, or if it's your mom or dad, you never go back in the house. When you go back, you're probably not going to come back out. So when you get out, you stay out. And that way, when the firefighters get there, you can tell them, hey, my brother's still inside, my mom's still inside, I don't know where, whatever it is, whether it's a family member or a pet, you tell the firefighters that they're still in there, and then they can go look for them. But you never go back. And this applies to moms and dads too. You don't go back. If you go back in the house after you've gotten out, and if there's really truly a fire going on, you're probably not going to come back out, unfortunately. All right, so some other things that we learned about, that Elmo learned about at the fire station, was some of the different gear that they wear, all right? Some of the different things that they wear when they're firefighters, and they might look a little different. Say you had the helmets on there. Let's see, there they've got helmets and gear. And there's another one here. Oh, there he's got a mask on. That's part of what's called a self-contained breathing apparatus, or we call it an SCBA, that helps us to breathe. So all of it, when we're wearing all of that, it makes us look really strange, and we could look a little scary, kind of sound like aliens. And we're going to show you what that might look like and what that might sound like if you came across that. If we showed up in your house one night, because we're not normally in your house, hopefully. We shouldn't be anyway.
No, I don't think so.
We'll show you that then.
Great. Well, that was a great story about Elmo, wasn't it, Caesar? Yeah, did you like that story about Elmo too, Larry?
Yes.
Yes, I did too. That was great. And now we're going to watch Firefighter Mast tell us all about the cool gear and equipment that he gets to wear when he goes on a call for the fire department. It looks like you've got some pretty snazzy gear there too, Caesar. Let me see. What have you got there? You've got an axe. Look at that, an axe. And in your pocket, you have a fire extinguisher. Does that spray real water, Caesar?
It's like a foamy substance.
A foamy substance. Excellent. And in your other pocket, it looks to me, let me see, we're going to come zoom in here. What all have you got? You've got a walkie-talkie in there too. Is that so you can talk to Larry?
When he wants to.
When he wants to. Do you talk on the walkie-talkie too, Larry?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and watch Firefighter Mast here demonstrate his gear.
All right, so one of the things that Elmo learned when he was at the fire station, if you remember, was all the different gear and the different things that firefighters wear when they're fighting fire or when they're coming to help you with whatever your emergency is. So one of the things that we wanted to do was show you what that might look like. And if you remember in the book, we saw that, Susan and Sean, which were almost friends, They were just a regular people. They were just a man and a woman, just like your mom or dad or brother or sister or whatever. But when they put all this stuff on, they looked a little different. Might be a little scary. So I'm going to show you that. So the first thing is, obviously if I come in, remember he was wearing boots and he had pants on. Now, do you guys keep your shoes and your pants tucked together like this so you can get them on really quick? If you don't, I recommend it. Your mom will be really happy. You get out of bed in the morning and like fly into your shoes and your pants. You'll be ready for school in no time. Your mom will be so happy. But anyway, that might not work for you. They were wearing a coat. He was wearing a helmet. He was wearing an air pack, and I've also got gloves in the pockets. So I'm going to show you what that might look like. Now, normally, if I'm getting dressed for a fire, we would be doing this a lot quicker, obviously, but we're going to take our time today, take it nice and slow, so that you guys can see what it looks like. You just pull the pants up like this. See, that's how quick you can be ready for school. Just like that.
I have to try that.
Think how happy your mom would be if you did that every day. Then my coat goes on.
What's the hook for?
I'm sorry?
What's the hook for?
This hook? This is a safety hook. If we're up on a ladder or if we're up in the aerial, this hook comes out and I can flip in, and now I could slip and fall and I won't fall. It's belted to a harness that goes around my waist.
Nice.
So if you're up on a ladder or up in the area, we have a 70-foot aerial that we would work off of, and this safety hook just that, it's a safety hook. So we wear it, it's not dangling all the time, we wear it flipped on there, but that was just that quick, you can unhook it, flip in somewhere, and it keeps you safe.
Nice.
So this, very important piece of equipment, it's kind of like, it looks like an old sock, right? It actually kind of smells like an old sock too, if I'm not gonna lie. But this goes over my head, just like this, to protect my neck. And I'll show you then once I put everything else on. These pieces all kind of fit together. It's kind of like an envelope. Now, most of you kids probably don't know what envelopes are anymore. We used to put mail in an envelope. It was a piece of paper. You put it in an envelope, and then you put it in a mailbox. And the mailman came and picked it up. So that's kind of what we call this. It's like putting us in an envelope. All these things sealed together and cover all the gaps so that there's no open spaces for you to get hurt. So coat zips up like this, and then there's clips. All right, we're getting there. So, what else am I missing? I got my boots, got my pants, got the coat. I got my gloves here, but I'm not ready for the gloves yet. We have to get the breathing apparatus, right? Remember we talked about self-contained breathing apparatus? It's called an SCBA. That goes on like this. Gets kind of heavy, but this carries air that's good. It's not oxygen, it's just regular air that we can breathe if we're in a smoky or a hazardous environment. It's air that we can breathe so we'll still be able to function. All right, so I still kind of look like me, right? I mean, I look a little goofy. You don't see people walking around looking like this, but you can still see my face. If you saw me at your house, I probably wouldn't be too afraid. Now remember in the book, Elmo's friend Sean had a mask on, right? That's part of the breathing apparatus. That's part of what helps him be able to breathe if they're in a hazardous environment. So that's what this looks like. Now, it's a little harder. It's probably harder for you to understand me. It's harder for you to see me. Remember that sock I had on my head? Well, that comes up over like this. Completely covers everything. All right, so what else are we missing?
Your helmet.
We got a helmet here, right? We need a helmet. Hump goes on. Now, it's going to be a little noisy for a second here because I'm going to turn my air bottle on. So you hear what that sound is. Alright. So this is going to clip on here. And this is what it would sound like if I'm in your house breathing.
Nice.
Sounds. I always tell people it sounds like Darth Vader. If you guys ever watch Star Wars, it sounds a little bit like Darth Vader. All right. So, and we've got. Gotta get my gloves there yet, right? Because my hands are still aren't protected.
That's right.
Gotta get the gloves on. We have to reshoot this segment. I'm not laughing. So now, got everything on. Got my gloves, got my helmet, got my mask, and my coat, and my pants, and my boots. So remember we said about get low and go, and how we work on the ground? So that's how we come into your house. A lot of times if it's dark and it's smoky, we're not going to be up walking around like this. We're going to be down on the ground. We're going to move fast, and we're going to be loud. So that's one of those things, as a kid, Mom and Dad are always yelling at you, be quiet, stop making so much noise. When you're a firefighter, you get to make all the noise you want.
A lot of noise.
We're going to look and see that even though this looks strange, and this looks a little odd, and this is kind of scary, we're there to help you. We don't want you to go hide, we don't want you to go be afraid and run away from us, or try to hide from us, or go hide in a closet, or anything like that. We want you to come to us. If you see us, this is what it's going to sound like, this is what it's going to look like.
Right, and we're thankful that you come and save us when we need you. You know, Larry, I think one of my favorite things about going to the fire station was getting to check out the fire truck. Did you guys like the fire truck too?
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was all shiny. It had all kinds of dials and gadgets and all kinds of interesting things on it. And it actually holds water. Does your fire truck hold water, Larry?
Sure.
Sure. I can see a hose sticking out of the side of it. Just try not to get me wet, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that. Well, let's go ahead and watch Firefighter Mast show us all about the cool fire trucks that they have at the Mifflinburg Hose Company.
All right, so one of the things that the kids always love when we come to the library is they love to go through the fire truck. We like to take the fire truck up there to them and give them a chance to see it and get inside of it and crawl around and everything. Since we can't do that today, we're going to take you on a little tour of the fire truck. All right, so come with me. Steps are pretty big. You might need a ladder. I might need a ladder too because I'm pretty short, but it's okay. So when you get in here, you see there's lots of stuff. Now we have Caesar the bear here, right? Did I say that right?
Yep,
Caesar the bear. All right, Caesar. He's along for a ride along with us today. So these are what's called SCBA seats. Remember in the earlier video I showed you some of the self-contained breathing apparatus we wear. The fire engines are all set up so that when you jump in, you can put it on while you're sitting in here. So it's
nice.
it's like a safety belt. You strap yourself in there. He's kind of got his face a little scrunched up there, but so.
I don't think he minds.
He doesn't mind. He's kind of loving. He's kind of digging this. This is cool. So we have that in each seat, and then we have each one of these seats. See, these flip up that way. Some of those people that are in the skinnies we used to be, we still get by, and then we can flip the seat down and sit in it. But each one of these seats has an SCBA in it. There's a mask for each SCBA. Now, we used to carry axes and tools in here as well, but just for safety reasons, we don't carry any of those in here anymore. They're all in an outside compartment. But we do have flashlights and other things like that. These are pretty bright. Kind of cool. You can set them down. You can hang them on your. They've got clips to hang on your gear, and they're super bright. So I don't want to turn it on because I don't want to blind the camera. But there's lots and lots of things. There's radios that we would use to communicate because when we're inside a fire, we have to be able to communicate with whoever's outside. So each team would have a radio with them. I'm also going to show you. This is something called a thermal imaging camera. So this is like, if it's completely dark, this can see through dark, it can see through smoke. We carry one of these, and this is actually a relatively older model. We have much newer ones, but that's the one. This is the one that happens to be on this truck. And we'll see how it shows up on the camera here.
Cool.
It's probably not going to show up real well, but can you see that on the screen? All right, so see my hand in front of the camera? Now, you're looking right now, we're looking up at the ceiling. Now watch what happens. I'm going to reach up on the ceiling, and I'm going to rub on it, and which the friction will heat up a spot on the ceiling. Watch this. See that spot? That's just from the little bit of heat that I generated with my fingers rubbing on the ceiling. That's how sensitive this camera is. So if you can imagine in the dark, if we can't see anything, if somebody was laying out somewhere in a house, that's a very easy way for us to find them.
That is cool.
You can also, if we were outside, you can show a little better. You can actually find, like I could make footprints with my feet. Now, obviously, they don't last long at all. That's very short. Right. But just that little bit of friction generates enough heat, and that this is sensitive. Yeah, you can see it fading already. But this camera is that sensitive that it detects that and then changes the picture.
Wow.
So that's a pretty neat tool that we have. Let's see here. Larry the Ghost?
Yep.
How you doing, Larry? He's kind of upset. He doesn't have an air pack on, so we're gonna get him dressed here too. I don't know. His bones are a little fragile. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do this, but we're gonna try it. Well, got his glasses off there. Yeah. So anyway, he's all geared up and ready to go too. So that's kind of what it looks like in the back here.
Very cool. And how many firefighters can we fit in here?
There's a driver and an officer up front, and then 4 in the back fully outfitted, and then there's 2 little flip down seats here.
Nice.
I can show you. There's 2 flip down seats. Now these are just extra seats. Those 2 seats don't have an air pack with them or anything, but we can fit a total of 6 in the back here actually.
Nice.
Plus the driver and the officer up front.
Cool. Well, let's go outside and take a look at some stuff outside.
Absolutely. All right, so we showed you what the inside of the fire truck looked like. Now I want to show you some stuff on the outside, and like going back to Elmo and his trip to the fire station again. Remember, one of the things that he saw was that they use a lot of hoses. They use hoses to put water on fire, obviously, because they used to use buckets, but we've kind of come a long way. We don't use buckets anymore, so we use a lot of hoses. So we have a lot of that on here. Look at that. You guys have hoses at your house, like garden hose. Well, we've got a lot of different stuff. We got different colors, we got different sizes, some are different lengths. A lot of different options that we have. And these are all pre-packed, so we could just pull this out. I'm not going to pull it out here today, but just in about 20 seconds, we could have this hose completely deployed and ready to put water on fire.
Oh, nice.
So another big part of a fire engine this is what's called the pump panel. Look at all this stuff, all these lights and gauges and switches and knobs, really cool things that you kids would like to play with. But this is all very important stuff. It's all a very important part of getting water from wherever we're getting it onto a fire. So it's something that if you like technical things and if you like mechanical things, and when you grow up, it'd be a good thing to do, is learn how to operate a fire truck. So a lot of different things that we do here. There's a ghost in the fire truck. That's okay. He's hanging out. Couple things here. Couple things to up. So if we have a hose, do you guys ever have water fights at home? Like they have nozzles on the hose, right? If you have a hose, you gotta have a nozzle. So we've got all kinds of different nozzles here too. These are probably a little bigger than what you're used to playing with.
Much bigger.
And they've got handles. But a lot of different nozzles here, all kinds of different fittings. A lot of different parts and pieces that we have to know how to put together to make things work. But all of them have a very important job, and all of them are very necessary depending on what the job is that we might be doing.
And we can hook these up to the fire hydrant or to the truck, right?
Yes, yes, these would be hooked. All of this stuff, most of this stuff would all be hooked onto a truck, coming off of a truck to put water from the truck onto the fire. One like this, the size hose
Wow.
that big, that's a little bigger than your garden hose. That's the size of hose we would use to get water, like from a fire hydrant to the truck, or from a pond into the truck, depending whatever our source of water is. Because we're here in central Pennsylvania, it's very rural. There's a lot of our fires that we don't have hydrants. We're working out of a pond or out of what's called a dry hydrant in a farmer's pond. But that's the kind of hose that we would use for that. Pretty big.
That's big.
All right, so let's see. What else was Elmo? There's a couple things we haven't looked at yet. We looked at Elmo's friends had gear. They had the boots. They had the self-contained breathing apparatus. They had hoses, and they had fire hydrants. I haven't showed you a hydrant yet, but there's a couple other things we haven't looked at. Any ideas?
Yes.
We got axes and different pipe poles, different kinds of poles. See, this has a hook on it, so you could shove this up into the ceiling of your house. You could shove that up and then turn it, and it'll rip it back down, and it would rip a big chunk of the ceiling out.
Sure.
Not recommended, just for fun.
No.
Mom and Dad will not be happy. But very important tool when we need it. This is something called a Halligan bar. There are all kinds of things you can do with this, all kinds of things you can break, and all kinds of ways to get hurt with it. It's got a lot of sharp points and a lot of sharp edges. But again, very useful tool, very multi and heavily used tool if we're actually working, or if there's a fire at someone's house. This is something that we would use a lot. But all of these things, it's also very important. Everything has a place, and everything is in its place. And you can see when we open this up, it's not just a big jumble of mess,
right,
like your rooms might be right now.
Or a junk drawer.
Yeah, or your junk drawer at home. Everything is very organized, very sorted and organized, and everything has a place, and everything's in its place. Remember I said about needing a stepladder? Sometimes I need a stepladder. Let's see. There we got more axes, more Halligan bars, little door wedges. These are wedges that we would use. You know how, like, if the wind's blowing and the door blows shut, and you're trying to go in and out. These are wedges that we could use to wedge something like that. Up top here, what do you think this is? Anybody have any ideas? This is something Elmo didn't even talk about.
Well, you needed a ladder earlier.
Exactly, needed a ladder. So we got all kinds of ladders here, a couple different ladders. We're not going to get those off today, but ladders is something that we use a lot. So there's a lot of different options, but those are the ladders that we have on this truck. And there, we have a lot more hose and some big stuff. We got some more tools, different kinds of bars to rip and tear things. And we have, anybody know what this is? Fire extinguishers.
Yes.
There's different kinds of fire extinguishers. There's actually 3 different kinds of fire extinguishers. One, we call this a PW, or a water can. So, different size hoses, different equipment that we would use to put all of this is things that we would use to put water on whatever is on fire.
Huh. And when you use those tools, it's to help with the fire out.
Yes.
Right.
Yep, these are all things we would use to get water, from, like I said, from a fire hydrant or from a pond, wherever we're getting the water from, to, whether it's your house or a barn or whatever it is that's on fire. There's a lot of different tools and a lot of different things that we would use to make that happen.
Right. Well, that was exciting. Thanks for showing us all the cool things on your truck.
Absolutely, and thanks a lot for coming today. It was a lot of fun, and I hope someday that you guys can come down and we'll actually show you the fire station in real life.
That would be great. Thank you, Firefighter Mast. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Bye. Well, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed our tour of the Mifflinburg Hose Company. I had a lot of fun there with Firefighter Mast, and I had a lot of fun with you guys. And I hope all the boys and girls enjoyed our presentation too. It's really important that we stay safe and that we call 911 if there's an emergency and only if there's an emergency. And we want to thank all of our hardworking firefighters for all they do to protect our community. Thank you, firefighters. We appreciate it.